What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I've played College Football 25 Dynasty about as much as any person on Earth. And what I have experienced throughout that time has given me an opportunity to create a list of 10 changes that I think will drastically improve Dynasty Mode. Now, I want to make sure that these changes could actually happen. I don't think it's constructive to say, well, here's 5 features we need to add that have zero chance of ever getting put into the game. I want to come with a realistic approach. Didn't want to highlight bugs because let's be under the assumption that those are going to get fixed in title updates and patches. But I got 10 features, 10 fixes that are incredibly reasonable that I think will take Dynasty Mode from where it's at right now, which I think, to be fair, it's probably like a B tier, B plus tier, somewhere in that range. And I think these fixes will easily put it into the A tier of game modes. Ladies and gentlemen, meet JC Wysong. Senior, normal dev, 2-star recruit. You look at him and go, wow. I mean, elusiveness off the charts, speed really good. That's a good player there, C4. Well, he won the Heisman. Holy shit, Heisman? Let's go. At no point of winning the Heisman, from a junior to a senior year, did his dev trait budge off of normal dev. At no point of winning the Heisman as an 83 overall junior did his rating budge or his skill cap. And skill cap are those crossed out boxes, which means this is a player that will never achieve more than those crossed out boxes. Even though my coach has tier 3 here in Motivator, which gives my wide receivers and tight ends an off-season training boost, we saw zero growth and development from the reigning, defending, returning Heisman Trophy winner. So 2 of my top 10 Dynasty changes. 1 is, for the love of God, allow dev traits to go up and down. Why are we taking a step back from Madden franchise mode? Point number 1 is have dev traits be able to go up and down. Makes no sense that they're locked in. Number 2 is, can we make these skill caps a little more fluid? Like, say if you might have an elite dev wide receiver, but he just is an okay player, might not ever break those skill caps, might not ever break up into a 90-plus overall type player. That happens in real life. You see really good college players maybe never take that last little step. Fine. But it's incredibly unrealistic and anti-fun to have players like Wysong here, who come out of nowhere to win the Heisman, have zero growth and development because their ceiling is what their ceiling was when they were a freshman when I recruited them. There is a predetermined limit to how good they can be regardless of what they achieve and accomplish in this game. And that is a bizarre design choice. There needs to be fluidity to player development. Keep it a little bit difficult than Madden. It doesn't need to be the exact same system as Madden. But it is unrealistic and anti-fun having no dev trait development and having locked in you are what you are skill caps for every single player, regardless of context. The third change I'd like to see, and this is maybe a little more niche because of when I'm doing a rebuild, there's a lot of years, there's a lot of different players. I would like to see, and we're going to use the background here, my Blue Mountain State rebuild, which will be dropping tomorrow. It's an absolute banger. But you can look at Jamie Long here. We could see a lot of information. He had a deal breaker. He's a star player. He was redshirted. So, like, we're getting information from his little profile right up there. I would love to see, because there's still plenty of space, I'd like to see their dev traits included in this little information. Because you might be like, all right, I got my wide receivers here. They look pretty good. Oh, but little do you know, DeMarco, the 4th wide receiver, is the only guy with an elite dev trait. And if you're setting your depth chart, you might forget that. And I feel like maybe it's a little bit more niche because I do multiple years, a lot of players. And if you're playing this slow style every single game, you're probably not going to forget the depth traits of your players. But these rosters are huge. And I think that when you're setting your depth chart, say it's week 1, right after training camp, being able to kind of maybe even use a little bit of a tiebreaker of a player that might impact versus star dev, having that information available here at the roster menu, here in the depth chart menu, when there's already so much other information provided. They clearly want to show you things from this screen without having to click into each individual player. Why not include the dev trait as well? Change number 4 I would like to see is once we get out of the NIL real player era, soon as I bring in that first recruiting class and these are generated players within game, I should be able to edit, customize every single thing about them. If I want them to be 7 feet tall, 99 speed, 99 jumping, I should have that ability. I mean, a lot of times we get these Cooper DeJean-inspired corners named George Bad News Superstar, which is bad enough. But currently, as it stands, for a 100% fake fictional player, I can customize their first name, last name, position, and handiness. Can't touch their number. Can't touch their player background. Can't touch their race, hair, facial hair. Why? It almost feels like it's harder to program these restrictions in than just letting it be completely customizational. Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre that this stuff's locked. The fifth change I would like to see is at least the option to raise the cap level of your head coach beyond 50. I'm level 40 with my coach, so between 40 and 50 when we finish, we're going to have 100 more points that we can spend. And those points are going to go quickly, as everything in Talent Developer costs 8. If we can unlock, the secondary options here, they get 8. If you want to go to some of the other big ones, like you get Program Builder, there's 12. So there's not really a whole lot more room of growth that I'm going to have between level 40 and 50 with my coach. I appreciate, and I don't want this complaint to come across as I want the game to be easier. I appreciate the fact that you are never going to have a coach that's 100% good at everything. You're going to have a specialty, and then you'll be kind of good at everything else, and then you need to rely on your offensive coordinator and your defensive coordinator to pick up the slack in the area that you are not the best at. However, I think 50 is still a little low, and I think having the option to bump that up to 75, to bump that up to 100, even if this is at 100, you are probably at best going to get 70% of this tree unlocked at the most? So give me the option. So I'm not saying raise the coach level cap universally. Just give me the option in the settings. You give me the option to control the XP settings if I want to go slow as a turtle, or if I want to speed run it. This is an incredibly overpowered toggle option that I get in my own Dynasty settings. So if you're going to do that, why not throw in skill caps? Why not let me raise it? If I want it to be 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, I can set it that way in the settings so you can customize each Dynasty experience the way you see fit. Change number 6 is one that I don't have a 100% answer tangibly of what I would like to see fixed. I have a suggestion, and it comes in recruiting. There needs to be an apply all feature. Right now, recruiting, and this is by no means something that's a deal breaker, something that's drastically hindering my Dynasty experience. This is almost borderline a nitpick, but I think anytime you can improve the quality of life of things that are tedious and not the most fun, with a suggestion that we very much have the technology to do, I think an apply all feature to recruiting. There should be a way that I can highlight and select. For example, I got 14 players here, right? I should be able to hit A, and it'll highlight and put a little check mark next to all 14 of these players. And then with this another button, I should be able to then go into the recruit option and, for example, hit them with the everybody gets 10 hours of DM player. Everybody gets 25 hours of friends and family. Or when you're earlier on in your recruiting cycle, I can apply all and offer all those players a scholarship. I feel like there should be an apply all feature to managing your hours so it's less tedious, less menus, easier. Right now, my left and right bumpers, they're going to get squeaky with all the management that happens when I'm trying to recruit in any given cycle. My 7th change I would like to see is the cost of entry for some of these coach abilities to be tuned down a little bit. It feels like they were scaled for people that are playing Dynasty Mode with 4-star, 5-star programs. Because you have a 4-star, 5-star program, you're probably going to have 2 players drafted in the first round within the first 3 seasons, 4 seasons. You're probably going to win your 4 bowl games within 5, 6 seasons, maybe, especially if you're good at the game. If you are a small school, which I would like to assume 75% of people that play Dynasty Mode, winning 4 bowl games, who knows how long that will take you. And you're not even getting overpowered abilities. It's complementary boosts, some recruiting boosts. Sure, Tier 4, the Mind Reader, is real nice, but it also costs more to upgrade and go through strategies. It costs 8 points. When you look at Talent Developer, these are core. These are core abilities. And you know how they know they're core abilities? Because Recruiter, Tactician, and Motivator are all starting points that you can pick right when you start your level 0 coach. If you want to get Talent Developer, which gives you some boosts in the transfer portal, gives you some development boosts. The value is immense. You're going to get 2 players drafted in the first couple rounds really, really quickly if you're a 4-star, 5-star school. But if I'm here with a Y, if I'm here with a 1-star, you're playing every game. Say you're not simming all the time. You are going in authentic Dynasty mode. It'll be 2026 by the time you have 2 players drafted in the first round at a 1-star, 2-star school. For a core ability. I get program builder. I get CEO. Those are the tip top of the mountain. Those should be difficult to unlock. Those should be end game abilities. But for these 6 core, it only feels reasonable if you are at a big time school. If you're a small time school, nerf that. 2 players drafted in the first round to unlock talent developer is too much. You can make it, honestly, I feel like you should swap the unlock there for Master Motivator, where you have 5 players drafted. That is how you can unlock the second tier in Master Motivator. These are, again, end game, should be more difficult to earn. I think I personally would flop these. You should make it 5 players totally drafted to get talent developer, because that's a lot more reasonable at a small school, because you could chip away at that by getting, day 3 picks, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders to go. And then make the second tier of motivator the 2 first rounders. I think that is an incredibly simple fix that lowers the cost of entry. 4 bowl games for strategists, I think we make that 2. Cut that in half, because you're going to hit it probably pretty early anyway if you're a big-time school. And if you're a small-time school, you're still going to have to grind to get those 2 bowl game wins. It might not happen until year 5, year 6 of your rebuild to get those bowl game wins. And I think that is a reasonable time, because in this skill tree, as you may know if you play the game, you cannot refund points. So by having talent developer, which I view as a core ability, even though it is a little bit more valuable, by having strategist, which is a great core ability for recruiting, by the time you unlock your 2 first players drafted in the first round, your 4 bowl wins at a small school, you probably have so many points invested elsewhere, because you're a small school. You are not going to be able to sit on those points and just wait until you get strategist 4. You're not going to not spend your points for 4 seasons. You're not going to spend your points for 10 plus years, or however long it takes to get your 2 first rounders. So by the time you unlock talent developer and strategist, you are just not going to have the points available to fully flush out these trees at a small school. So I think lowering the cost of entry, I would personally just swap the first rounders and the 5 overall players drafted, and I think that'd be a great quality of life improvement to the coach abilities. Change number 9 for me is one of the rare regressions from NCAA Football 14 to this game, and that is the training results. Because I still cannot tell you how to read these results. Because obviously there's certain scenarios right here, right? Like, I'm going to assume that, as you can see at the top of the player card, he's a 74 overall player. It says here he's 75 with a green arrow, so that he has 1 point growth. But it doesn't show me. Like in NCAA Football 14, you'd get like in brackets right next to all these numbers. If they went up, it'd show like +1, +2, +3. It's a guessing game, which also, can we also just acknowledge that we have a 99 strength quarterback here for this little simulation. But the fact that there's no way of telling what these player goes, like even if they don't go up a full overall, like do I have some players that are like there? All right, so he didn't go up a full overall, but his break tackle is up from who knows what it was a year ago. So I severely want to see a revamp here to the training results, because this is literally, I don't know, it feels like they submitted this work incomplete. Like this is not how the training results are supposed to be in the final release of the game. Show me what players have gone up by, please. So fix, change, whatever you want to call it, number 9 and number 10 are going to be related to Team Builder. And I've been very vocal as someone that is operating a Team Builder Dynasty, the Parts Unknown P-Monkeys. Go check it out if you haven't dropped it, in my incredibly biased opinion. It's far and away the most entertaining, unique Dynasty on YouTube. On the website, though, when I am building my team, you can customize your players, except you can't. Why can't I change their names? I can change their number, handedness, their stats, their height, their weight. Way down here, you can change their appearance. Fix number 9, very simple. Why can't I change their names? And change number 10, as it relates to Team Builder, I got Blue Mountain State here. Okay, we all know Blue Mountain State. We know what they're about. I import them into my game, into my dynasty. How come there's restrictions to how I can edit my team? So I've downloaded a fully fictional team, not real players, no connection to NIL. So clearly we got Thad Castle here, right? How come I can't change how he looks? I can only change his first name, last name, handedness. Like it's the same locked perspective that you would get within Dynasty, which is incredibly restricted. But these are all fake players. How come I can't make Thad Castle? How come I can't modify the ratings? That's a big issue here as well. Is if I want, say, this great BMS school that's been created elsewhere to be Cupcake, I have no control over the base ratings of these rosters. Why? It's team builder. It's all fake. Why are there so many roster management constraints in this game? It makes no sense. So those are my 10 changes that I would like to see in Dynasty Mode. I think they're all very reasonable. I all think they're patch-worthy. I love to hear what you guys think, if you agree or disagree with this list. If I missed anything that you guys think should be included, let me know in the comment section below. We'll be back tomorrow with a BMS rebuild, which is an absolute banger. And until that time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one. Subscribe if it's your first time and you agree with my list. Like for the YouTube robots. Peace out.